Son of the White Mare is a 1981 Hungarian animation film that's written and directed by Marcel Jankovic. So, Son of the White Mare is a film, one of many films that I've seen in preparation of my top 20 animated films list. At this point, I've probably seen 12 or 13 different animated films, again, just in preparation for my top 20 list. And I've had a blast watching all these films and learning about a lot of films that I had no idea even existed. And also don't forget that if you really end up enjoying this video, please don't forget to give it that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And huge shout out to Charlotte Sometimes, who was one of my friends and one of my patrons. She was the first person that introduced me to this film and recommended it to me after also recommending Belladonna of Sadness to me, which is another film that I absolutely loved and I have a review for if you want to check that out as well. Bought that film on Blu-ray because I absolutely loved it. And Son of the White Mare is an incredibly difficult film to find. If you live in America, I don't think there's really any way to find this film except for this one YouTube video, which I will share in the description box for those who really want to check this film out. But Son of the White Mare is actually going to get what looks to be an incredible Blu-ray release on June 8th. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm more than likely going to pre-order it because the release looks pretty amazing. I just love the cover art. I love all the special features that it comes with, so this is something that I'm probably going to buy. But obviously, at this point, it goes without saying that I absolutely love Son of the White Mare. This is a film that is a bit tragic in a way in terms of just how far it fell into obscurity. Because this is a film that, again, like, most people have never heard of and will probably never hear of. And it's a shame because this is one of the most beautiful, most gorgeous, most stunning animations that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's obviously incredibly psychedelic in a lot of ways, but it's also just incredibly gorgeous and visionary. Just when watching this film, I personally found it incredibly difficult to kind of wrap my head around how delicate the vision was to this film, because you can tell just every frame of this film had a specific intention behind it. And everything comes together incredibly collected and smooth, regardless of how chaotic and trippy this film is. In my opinion, this film is as if the Bible, Hercules, and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time came together and had a baby. This would be the baby. The baby is Son of the White Mare. I guess it's a bit false and unfair to say that it's biblical, because the Bible was inspired and also just straight up stole a lot of previous mythologies that came before it, because this film is actually based on an ancient Hungarian myth that is apparently pretty popular in Hungary. I'm not sure because I'm not from there, but that's just kind of what I've read up on it. And obviously for me, it's going to come off biblical just because of the fact that I'm raised in America and that's the popular religion here. And biblically speaking, I found it similar in a few ways. The first way I found it similar is the kind of fall of man kind of creation myth that his film kind of dives into in the beginning. But also just the simple fact that it revolves around this kind of heroic savior type character who is meant to kind of go out and save the world. But that's also very similar to a mythology and film like Hercules, and also the video game The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. But it also reminded me a bit of Ocarina of Time just because of the overall structure to this, in terms of how the main character has to kind of, overcome each challenge and defeat certain bosses, and each boss just keeps getting more difficult and difficult. But also just in the symbolism, the color palette, and the mythology that's presented in this film as well. Because in this film, you do have these kind of three spirits or goddesses that are presented here that all have the same kind of color that represent a certain aspect of nature. And it was just something that I found incredibly interesting and exciting to see realized in a stunning animated film like this, because I love the way that this film embodies and captures the whole mythological approach and the whole essence of it. Because this is a film that, through and through, from start to finish, first of all, I was completely engaged by, but beyond that fact, you truly feel like you're witnessing an ancient mythology that has just been passed down and told from person to person just for thousands of years. And to me, it's not only because of how unforgiving it can be with some of its content, because I'm not sure if I would say that this would get an R rating. I'm not sure what it would be rated, but it seems to kind of borderline that rating. It's either a hard PG-13 or an R rating, just because of, again, how it's unforgiving with its violence and also with some nudity and sexuality. But I love how I didn't feel like it was being sugar-coated for kids, and it's something that was truly just trying to capture the bare bones mythology that is really popular and has been passed down for generations. But even beyond that, I think the structural approach to this film also just kept reminding me that I was witnessing something that was mythological, because it gets to a point where it does have a bit of a repetitive structure to it, to where you have certain characters that are going through kind of the same exact thing over and over again. But for me, it didn't really bother me at all in this film. Normally, it might have bothered me a bit, but it just felt really appropriate with this film because, again, it's trying to truly embody the essence of the ancient myth. And I also think it's presented in a way to really tell you something about each character that's going through the same scenario. And for that, I really appreciated it. After I watched this film, I was curious to look up clips and trailers for this film. And in the comment section, I saw somebody say that this is the holy mountain of animation. And in terms of like its narrative approach, it's in a way kind of nothing like the Holy Mountain. But in terms of just its visual ambition, in terms of how psychedelic and trippy it is, I can see it being compared to the Holy Mountain, just because it offers just mountains and mountains of just stunning animation that is, again, really mind-blowing, and a lot of people are just going to find incredibly trippy. But honestly, when it's done right like it is here, it creates some of the best animation I've ever seen. I love the Beatles' The Yellow Submarine. I love Fantastic Planet. Obviously, I love Belladonna of Sadness, and obviously here, I love The Son of the White Mare. The only one small kind of nitpicky thing I will say about the film is that it doesn't really throw you any curveballs. It can be a tad bit predictable, and that's not even really the film's fault. I'm sure that's just, you know, how the mythology goes. But in terms of just a film watching experience, it's that somewhat predictable aspect of it that slightly took away from the experience. But again, I can't stress enough how beautifully animated this film is. It's insanely creative. It's really well paced, in my opinion, and everything just seems to come together incredibly well. And again, one of my favorite aspects of it is not only just how beautiful and stunning the animation is, but just how well it embodies the spirit of mythology. But overall, I absolutely love Son of the White Mare, and I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. And please don't forget to check out the description box, because I will leave a link to the film that's on YouTube, but please remember that it only has English subtitles, so unless you speak English or can read it or are Hungarian, I can't really help you. But it is available on Vimeo for rent for $10, but apparently it's not available on Vimeo for Americans because we suck. But either way, I hope you really enjoyed what I had to say about Son of the White Mare. If you really enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.